What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 9 MLB Power Rankings. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Get us to 500 subscribers. We'll be doing that huge giveaway as well. We're almost to 1K as well on Twitter, so make sure you guys get us to 1K as we'll be doing another giveaway there. But let's jump into the video here. And with the 30th team, staying at number 30, we got the Kansas City Royals. They're 3-13 in their last 16. Andrew Benintendi has been carrying this team with a 321 average, and thankfully they are in the AL Central, or else this team would be losing a lot more games. That 17 wins would probably drop down a few at least if they're in any other division. And this week they got 7 games playing every day, 3 versus Toronto and 4 versus Baltimore. They are at home, but it's going to be a rough start to the week. 29th, we got the Cincinnati Reds. And this team, they've been picking it up a little bit, after that really bad start to begin the year. Luis Castillo, he's a trade candidate this year. He will more than likely be traded to a contender come July. 33 innings pitched, 3.55 ERA, 34 Ks. He's his normal self after, taking the start of the year off with an injury. Tyler Stevenson, he's been doing great as well, almost a 300 average for a catcher. And they have 7 games this week, 4 versus Arizona, 3 at St. Louis. They are winning the game right now, 7-0 against Arizona until a rain delay. That's why I'm making this video now. So at least starting off with 1 win this week. 28th, we got the Oakland A's. Their biggest thing, they've lost 6 in a row, 1-9 in their last 10. And it's just not looking, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Let's just say that for the A's fans. I would not be surprised if Montas gets traded. He's been, the only entertaining thing to watch so far for the A's besides Sean Murphy here and there. With that 3.06 ERA, 78 Ks. And now we talk about the hitting team. After Sean Murphy, I really couldn't tell you, besides Christian Pache, who's, swinging the bat well. They're 29th and 30th in almost every stat for, every big stat that matters in the MLB. And they got 6 games this week, 2 in Atlanta, 2 at Cleveland, or 4 in Cleveland. And it's a road week for them, and it's, as I said, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. 27th, we got the Nationals moving up 1. They started last week 0-4, finished 3-0, and that's in part to Juan Soto heating up. 2 of his last 5 hits were home runs, and this is a great hitting team, but what's holding them back and is the main reason is pitching. Josiah Gray has been a really dominant. He's been good. He's been, winning a lot of his starts, but after that, you don't really get much. Strasburg, when he gets back, that's going to be a big boost to that rotation. But this team, they're really shooting for, a few games under 500 would be a success this year. My Tigers coming in at 26, moving up 1. Injury bug is still hit them hard. Good news, Riley Green, he's been doing well. Hit his home run last week in AAA. Austin Meadows is slated to start tomorrow. Robbie Grossman, someone else as well, I believe, who's going to start in AAA tomorrow on Tuesday when you guys are seeing this video. So the Tigers are starting to get back healthy, and that's a good sign. All signs are pointing to them, starting to get pieces back. But is it going to be too little, too late? This team is 12 games under 500. They're in a division where, they can benefit from, a bad start. But if they want to become a contender or a team, in the hunt, they're going to have to be right around 500 at the All-Star break. They got about a month and a half to do it. And, they could have a really good month here, go 20-10, and you're right around 500 there. But I'm not saying it's out of the occasion, but it's not looking too good. But the consistency, the only thing that's been consistent is Tariq Skubal. He's been an absolute stud this year. I mean, he's not going to be in the AL Cy Young voting race because he plays on the Tigers, but definitely worth a consideration. 2.15 ERA, 61 Ks, and he gives the Tigers the best shot to win every single game he pitches. But the Tigers do have 2 games at Pittsburgh and then 3 home against Toronto to close out the week. 25th, we got the Baltimore Orioles. Not much going on here. After Adley's call up, they haven't really been in the news much. Their last place, only 10 games behind 500, which I think is a great success for them to start the year. The outfield is carrying the team in hitting stats. Mancini, Hayes, Mullins, and Santander, they're doing great this year, but after that, it's kind of just drop off. And they got 2 games versus Cubs at home, and then they're heading on the road to Kansas City, which they could take a few games from them. 24th, we got those Cubs. And their story last week was Killian made his debut versus the Cardinals in the doubleheader Saturday. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Not a terrible start, to say the least, in your debut. But, he got sent back down there and to work on his craft, and I'm sure he'll be back up later this year. And it's been more consistent now that the Cubs are starting to stay in this bottom tier of teams. I know that they're only 9 games above or below 500, but in the NL Central, besides the Brewers and Cardinals, it's kind of been a drop off of teams, and the Cubs have been in last place essentially for a while now. So that's where they stay. 23rd, we got the Marlins, and they're kind of falling into that category as well. They are playing lots of close games. As you see, they're 11 and 17 and 2-run or closer games, and it's just the cookie hasn't crumbled their way so far this season. But what has is Sandy Alcantara. 1.81 ERA, 71 Ks, at least 7 innings pitched in his last 5 starts. So you know what you're getting out of your ace there. He's having a great dominant year. I mean, I saw him throw a complete game against the Braves a few weeks ago. So I can, speak for him that he is having a great year. They do have an easy matchup to start the week, I guess, in the NL East. You get a game or two there against Washington, and then they're on the road against Houston, which will be a tough series. 22nd, we got the Mariners. Are they down and out? Yeah, pretty much from the AL West. 11 games back from Houston. And even the Angels, I know that they're falling a little bit, but all these teams are just a lot better than them right now. Mariners, we had high hopes of them at the beginning of the year. As you can see up at the top, 9th was the highest we've had them ranked. And they've fallen down here all the way to 22nd. And it's just not been good here. I know they even moved up one, but it's starting to look not good. And they got a Houston team, which has been playing really good, and 3 at home against Boston, which is starting to, figure things out. So tough week for them. 21st, we got the Rockies. And once again, another team that we were high on early and has started to fade back down. Swept by Atlanta, 0-4 in 4 games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. At home, it's always tough. You got to at least win. You get, the saying is you got to at least split at home and split on the road. And go from there. But they are a top 10 hitting team thanks to Coors Field and CJ Cron. He's leading that charge, but they're bottom 3 in all pitching stats, and that's where it's going to hurt you at the end of the day, because you can't always outscore your staff when you give up 10, 11 runs. You can't expect them to put up those kind of numbers. 20th, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates making a big jump, moving up 4 spots here, thanks in part to a lot of collapses. But this Pirates team, I think, right now, if you were to pick a dark horse, I think it would be the Pirates. They could, bring some guys up in the rotation. O'Neal Cruz could be a name that you could be hearing not soon, but later this year of being called up. They did sweep the Dodgers last week, and they went 2-1 against Arizona last week. So a very successful week made them move up here. 2 games against Detroit, and then they hit the road to go to the ATL for 4. I think if they go 3-3 this week, it's going to be a very successful week. Diamondbacks fall a little bit, but they are still playing competitive baseball. That is for sure. Ketel Marte is heating up. That should say a 348 average in the last 30 days with 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Bottom 5 in hitting, bottom 10 in pitching, but they're still finding ways to win games, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. They do have 7 road games this week, so it's going to be a tough stretch for them. 18th, we got the Phillies moving up 1. They had a rough stretch there at the beginning of last week, but they finished with a 4-game win streak thanks to the Angels collapsing as well. Zach Wheeler has been great, 3.14 ERA, 67 Ks, and he's an undervalued pitcher that hasn't been talked about much this year because the Phillies have been floating around 500 and underachieving to a lot. But they have 6 games this week, 6 meaningful games, especially 3 in Milwaukee. That'll be a big series there for them, and 3 at home against Arizona, which they need to at least take 2 from. 17th, we got the Guardians making a big jump as well, 6-2 in their last 8. And this is another team, I think, in the AL, if I had to pick a dark horse team to make the run for the playoffs or get in, squeak in, I think it would be the Guardians. They will benefit from this weak AL Central. The White Sox even are struggling. You'll see them coming up soon. But the Guardians, they have a really good rotation that's been performing this year. The hitting needs to pick it up a little bit. They have some streaky guys, but the only consistent guy is Jose Ramirez. They don't have Franmil Reyes yet, so when he gets back, that's your cleanup hitter. He'll be back and better than ever. But they got 7 games that, they could easily go 5-2, 6-1 in against Texas and Oakland all at home, and they're going to benefit from that. 16th, we got those Texas Rangers staying pat. Marcus Semien started to pick it up again with a .237 average, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. He's starting to turn it on again. Thanks, Kobe, for dropping him in fantasy. He's beginning to look like the player we all thought he would be. And Martin Perez, wow, he is leading the MLB in ERA this year with a 1.56, 56 Ks, and 69.1 innings pitched. He is a candidate right now, one of the top candidates for the Cy Young heading into the month of June. And this week they have 6 road games, so we're going to really see what these Rangers are made of on the road. 3 in Cleveland, 3 in Chicago against the White Sox. Let's see what they can do against the AL Central this week. 15th, we have those White Sox. And I think if you were to compare preseason rankings to where we're at now, the White Sox are definitely the most underperforming team of the year. We had them at 3. Now they're here at 15. They just continue to fall little by little each week. But, that's mostly in part to Tim Anderson not being healthy. When he went down a week or so ago, they just kind of lost that rhythm, lost his bat, lost the swagger, and that's what Tim Anderson carries for this team. He's the heartbeat for this team. You see he has a .356 average, so 1 out of every 3 at-bats, essentially, he's getting a hit for this team. And that's huge for the White Sox, which they need a bat like that in the lineup. And it doesn't get easy for them. They have 3 games against the Dodgers at home and Texas. 14th, we got those Angels who are on an 11-game losing streak. Not much to say there, except you're finally at home this week, so hopefully you can win some games. But you got Boston and the Mets coming in town. 2 teams we haven't seen ranked yet. So obviously that's not a good sign. And when your best player, Mike Trout, is in an 0-for-26 slump, just nothing's going your way right now. A lot of people on Twitter I've seen today are like, fire Joe Madden. They need to fix something. Something's up here. But I think everyone needs to stay calm here. When they, start winning games, there's still only 1 game under 500 here. So no need to panic yet. 13th, we have the Red Sox. They had that slow start, but they were 19-14 in May, came out with a winning record, 5 games above 500 there. And this lineup is the 3rd best in the MLB. If you look at average, they're putting the ball in play a lot, finding gaps, doing what they have to do to win. And that's how they're back up here to 500. They have 7 road games this week in LA and at Seattle. So they have a nice little West Coast road trip. So they'll be playing some late games, but I think they'll be adjusted well. And I think they'll be right around 4-3 or 3-4 this week. The Braves are moving up as well here, moving up a few spots. They're on a 5-game win streak as we head into this week. Austin Riley and Acuna are both heating up. Acuna's hit a few bombs recently, same with Riley. It's good to see them, performing how they were last year, finally getting into that groove. And this is a scary team. We saw them consistently be around 500 last year, and what happens? They wins the World Series. So if their bats wake up, pitching wakes up right at the right time, this team is a very streaky team and can stay hot for a long time as well. 11th, we have the Giants. And I think the biggest question right now for them is, can they keep this up? They're only 5 games above 500 in the tough NL West, so I'll give them credit there. But they're 5.5 back for the division lead in the NL West. And can they, keep up with the Dodgers and, stay close to them towards the end of the year to win the division? I think no right now, just because of how good the Dodgers are. And it's going to be tough to catch them, but, stranger things have happened in baseball. But now we got to talk about the players that have, been overperforming right now. Mike Yastrzemski, Boomer Flores, and Jock Peterson. These guys, haven't been like the stars on the team yet, but right now they're acting like that, carrying this team in the hitting categories and really propelling this team to 5 games above 500. 10th, kicking off our top 10, we got the Cardinals staying pat. They're half a game back from the NL Central lead from Milwaukee. And so this week, I think they could take the lead on them. You steal 1 or 2 in Tampa, and then you sweep Cincinnati at home. Milwaukee has a tough week this week. So if next week we see the Cardinals in first place, don't expect them to be in number 10. Let's just say that. 9th, we got the Rays moving down 1. I just think that they've been coasting this whole year. They're 8 games above 500. And, no one's really said anything special about the Rays. Haven't seen any highlights, nothing too exciting coming in out of Tampa, except Shane McClanahan. He's a young guy with 2.1 ERA, 89 Ks, which leads all of Major League pitching in 64 innings pitched. And they have a tough week as well. 3 at home against St. Louis and 3 on the road in Minnesota. And I think this is a week where we can see what this team's really made of. 8th, we have those Twins that I just mentioned. They have 6 games as well this week, 3 against New York at home and 3 against Tampa at home. So you're getting 2 top 9 teams coming into your place this week, and we're going to see what they're made of. They get their first really tough week going into this year. But Joe Ryan is the big story. He's been out for a little bit with COVID. Hopefully they are going to be getting him back this weekend for that Tampa series. That is the goal. I believe he's slated to start tomorrow in a rehab start. And Luis Arraez with a monster year of 358 average. I mean, he's exceeding all expectations right now. You can't really complain at what he's doing. So as long as he keeps that up, everyone's going to be happy. 7th, we got the Blue Jays, who are moving up 2 as well. As we had them, dipping a little bit these last few weeks, but they're starting to climb back up the leaderboards. That's mostly in part to Alek Manoah with his excellent year, off to a great start with almost under a 2 ERA, 57 Ks. He's kind of been the unsung steady guy in that Toronto rotation. Hyun-Jun Ryu, he's been hurt a little bit. Jose Barrios, I mean, he's having really good starts and really bad starts. But once again, Manoah's been the only consistent guy. And I think what's really propelling this team to be, a little better now is that hitting. They've been counting on him for, this whole year and how they got to score a lot of runs, all this. And I think the hitting's finally starting to click there. This Blue Jays team could be entering the top 5 again very shortly. 6th, we have the Brewers, who are dropping a little bit here after a bad week for them last week. But they're half a game ahead on the Cardinals NL Central. It's not a tough week, as I mentioned, like super tough week, but I think that Washington series could give them some troubles. They're going to get Josiah Gray, their best starter, and, Soto's been heating up. So matchup problems could be there, but, when you got Josh Hader coming out of the pen, nothing to worry about. But Rowdy Tellez has been really good this year. 250 average, 10 home runs, 36 RBIs. I mean, he just seems like he's been an on-base percentage machine. It's above 300 as well. Entering the top 5, we got the San Diego Padres. This is their highest ranking to date. Machado is having an MVP caliber season, 9 home runs, 32 RBIs. And just wait till Tatis gets back, and they're going to have to pick to pitch. Who are they going to pitch to, Machado or Tatis? And that's going to be a tough question. We're going to have to see that one. Hopefully, before the All-Star break, we can see what's really making this Padres team even better is they're top 5 in almost every pitching stat this year. And, we got that Sean Manaea trade. I think it's going to pay off. I think it's been one of the better trades of the year to start the year at least. And it's propelled them here to, catching up to the Dodgers, staying pat with them. But they have 7 games this week, 3 at home against the Mets, which will be a really good series to see what these Padres are made of. And then 4 against Colorado. 4th, we got the Astros staying pat here. Their biggest news last week, or technically today, is Yordan Alvarez is signing that 6-year, $115 million extension. And so it's great. He's leading the team in almost every hitting stat right now. They need his bat in the lineup, and he loves Houston. It's very favorable to him. So it's a win-win on both sides here. Justin Verlander as well. He's having a great comeback here with a 2.23 ERA, 61 Ks, and around, I think, 60 innings pitched as well. They got a division opponent here, Seattle coming in. They're struggling right now. I think they're down 5-4. And then they go, at home you got the Marlins coming in. So hopefully they can at least win 2 there. And this Astro team, they're kind of coasting in this AL West now that the Angels have started to falter. 3, we got the Dodgers dropping out of number 1 and dropping down to 3 here. Mookie, he's been having a great year. Obviously, as you can see his stats there. Same with Tyler Anderson, the unsung hero for that rotation. But I think last week, that Pirates series, them getting swept at home is what just kind of sold me on dropping them a little bit here. And now how do you get, repaid with 6 road games against the White Sox, who play really good at home, and the Giants, which will be a really good series this weekend. 2nd, we got the Mets moving up. So we have the 2 New York teams in the top 2. And the Mets' big story is they have an 8.5 game lead going into June for Atlanta in the NL East. And will it stay? Personally, I don't think it will. I think the Mets have yet to really had a trip up, week or 2 weeks here. It's bound to happen. It's baseball. There's no way they're going to be at this rate. I mean, they could be. You never know. They don't even have DeGrom yet, so that could be a scary situation. But filling in for DeGrom and sometimes Sergio when he's hurt right now as well. Carlos Carrasco and Tyler Miguel. I mean, these guys are going out there, lighting it up, giving them 7 great innings, and really keeping the Mets at bay, giving them a good shot to win every game. And that's why they're here at number 2. But this week, they also have a really tough road schedule, 3 in San Diego and 3 against the Angels. The Angels who are looking to turn things around. They're good at home this year, obviously. And the Padres, which will be a really good series to kick off this week. And coming in at 1, we got the New York Yankees. 10-2 in their last 12 speaks for themselves. I mean, they had to earn that number 1 spot again. Aaron Judge is having an MVP caliber season. He's the leading vote getter right now, I would say. Leading MLB in home runs with 21, a 313 average, 42 RBIs. Dude's been on an absolute tear. If you took him in fantasy, I'm sure you're very thankful you have him on your team right now. But they have tough starts of the week, I would say, at Minnesota. They'll play them tough there, but then they have 3 at home against the Cubbies. And I think they should sweep them. But that's going to be it for the video today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Get us, as many subscribers as possible, watch hours, whatnot. We need everything, you guys. 127, we appreciate it. Thank you guys. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.